Hi, my name is Tara Garrity. I am the one who is the creator of the Grateful Connection course. And I am so excited that this class that I have taught multiple times in the past is now available as an online course. So how did this all come about? Well, it was never anything that I intended. Back in 2010 was the darkest season of my life. I was coming out of a domestic violence divorce, I was struggling to maintain my business, and my daughter got diagnosed with stage 4 high-risk cancer. She was my only child, still is my only child, and was 3.5 at the time. And I had 10 years of personal development work under my belt, so I knew that when I was only focusing on all of these horrible things, I was actually creating more of that. And I really couldn't change my circumstances, but I knew I had to change me. And so it started as a little personal experiment for myself of working with a grateful journal and practicing gratitude has expanded now into a course that I've had the opportunity to teach multiple times and see it transform the lives of the people who take it. There is so much power in gratitude, and not just being grateful, but practicing gratitude. Just like yoga, it's not about just doing the pose, it's the practice of yoga. It's stretching out of your comfort zone. It's doing something different. It's sometimes uncomfortable. Well, that's what gratitude is. And so in this course, we practice gratitude. We start to infuse it into our life. We have activities every week of things to do to create more gratitude in our life and in our environment. And what we focus on gets bigger. And when I did this, I'll just tell you what happened for me personally. I started my gratitude practice on January 14th, 2010. And I remember that night in my grateful journal, I listed 18 things that I was grateful for. And this was while I was sitting on the children's oncology floor with my daughter in a hospital bed. Now the next day, I listed 19 things that I was grateful for. But here's the powerful part. Less than a month later, on February 5th, I have over 36 things listed in my grateful journal. And less than 3 months after that, on April 15th, I wrote my blog, Life is Good. Guys, I was still in the midst of crazy court cases with my ex-husband. My daughter still had high-risk stage 4 cancer. My circumstances had not changed. If anything, maybe on paper, they may have even looked worse. But I was starting to change. My heart was starting to change. It was really the first time I could ever say as an adult, life is good. See, I lived my whole life thinking that when I achieved something or when I got to a certain place or earned an accolade, that I would be happy. And I always found myself discontent and striving for something more. But when I started practicing gratitude, and I really mean practicing, not just thinking about it, my whole life started to change. And I believe in the power of this practice. So what have I seen with other people? Well, I started a little over a year ago, saying, hey, let me just throw out a class and I'll teach this course and see what happens. Does it help other people the way that it helps me? I was shocked. As part of this process, you'll actually fill out a pre-survey questionnaire. And I'll ask you all these questions. And then when the course is over, you fill out a post one. Well, I started to compare these answers and I was shocked. Let me just give you some examples. People who had changed where they were on the scale. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how grateful are you right now? Starting the course at a 4, I'm not really grateful at all. Going up to a 9 in 4 weeks to I am overwhelmed with gratitude. The statement, don't sweat the small stuff. How much do you agree with that? People who said, well, that sounds realistic, but I really have more problems than most people. I'm probably a 5. Going from a 5 to a solid 10 of, you know what, I don't sweat anything. It takes a lot for me to get my feathers ruffled. This was one that I was really excited about. Going from, I lose my temper on a regular basis on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I lose my temper all the time, I'm a 4, going to a 10 in 4 weeks of I can't remember the last time I really lost my temper. Guys, it's huge. Imagine the changes in families that has. This was another one that touched my heart. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'm lonely all the time. Everyone seems to have a strong support group except me. Going from a 4 to a 9, that whether I'm alone or with people, I rarely feel lonely. So what have people said about this course? I loved this one. I felt like I was a grateful and positive person to begin with, but this class made me more aware of the times I wasn't being grateful. Or this, it gave me the tools to stop myself when I'm not grateful, and really the tools to turn my thoughts around. I loved it. This class taught me mindfulness and positivity. I love this one too. I've learned to be less critical of myself, less doubtful. So I'm excited that I've been able to take these classes that I taught in a course, combine them, like download them, and now create them as an online course where you have access to the very class that this came out of a year ago. So if you're interested, if that resonates with you, if you're like, you know what, maybe I'm a positive person, but I don't really practice gratitude, or I kind of a little inconsistent, or I think about it, but I'm not really sure how to take tools and actually create that in my life, and I'd love to transform and see some changes, then I'm gonna really encourage you, join me and sign up and take this course and see what happens in your life. I've seen radical changes in my life, radical changes in the lives of the women that I've had an opportunity to work with, and I would love to see that happen for you too. Now, if you are a Cancer parent, meaning you've got a kid who is diagnosed with childhood cancer, guess what? The course is free for you. Or if you're somebody who's currently undergoing cancer treatment, the course is free for you as well. So just email me or message me and let me know so we can get you signed up. Everybody else, you can use the link below and get registered. And as soon as you register, you'll get your very first email. You'll receive over every 3 days over the next few weeks, a total of 7 classes. Each one is gonna focus on a different practice of gratitude, then with activities that you can start to infuse into your life and into that week. You'll also have in between each video great little articles about gratefulness, mindfulness, inspiration, ways to keep you connected into your new practice. And what's great is that you can work it at your own time. So before, where these classes have been live or run webinars, you had to be there. Now we've taken that very class, downloaded it so that you can now watch that at a time that works for you. So I'm excited to see the changes that are going to happen in your life. I know that this can be the thing that makes a difference for you. And I have not seen one person really start to practice gratitude that hasn't been transformed and changed by it. So it could be you. Bye.